Greetings, EastEnders fans. Welcome to this week's Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast, where this week we'll be discussing the episodes that aired between the 23rd to the 26th of February 2026. How are you all? Hope you're all well. Joining me today with his absolutely beautiful new haircut is Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hello
Hair's
there.
looking good.
Thanks. I had to go to a new hairdresser because the one I normally go to was fully booked. So I went to a walk-in barber's, and that's a scary thing to do because you don't know what they're going to do with your hair, do they? A complete stranger. I could have been wearing a hat for the next month if it had gone wrong. I really could. Could have been awful.
I'd have been more concerned about the small talk and the new social side, personally. And what small talk are you going to make? What small talk do you make with the hairdresser?
I will say, I've never ever been asked going anywhere nice for your holidays, because that's normally the stereotype that people go to. I've never been asked that. Normally it's like, what you been up to? What do you do for a job? And after me, it's like, mind your own business and just cut my hair.
Just lie. When you have to go to a walk-in one again. Can't tell you.
If I tell you, I'd literally have to kill you. So I'd just cut my hair if I were you. Right, Ree, something very exciting.
Yes.
Something has been created for us. Okay.
For us?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Have a little listen to this.
After dark, the gossip's flowing and we're feeling adamant. With your host, Rob and Ree, that cheeky lil drug addict.
To be fair, it's Showstopper, the best podcast, it's true. Albert Square After Dark is here for me and you. So raise the roof and let the drama start on Albert Square After Dark.
Who's created that?
AI.
Who's made it? You?
AI has made that.
Sorry, why is AI calling me a little drug addict?
Oh, because I gave it. Well, I just showed it.
Oh, right, nice one.
I showed it that episode from you in Turkey, and it just came up with that. I just can't. No, I gave it a few little facts, a few little in jokes, and that's what it created.
Wow.
And bearing in mind the little conversations that I've been having about AI on EastEnders this week, I think we can come to the conclusion that AI is getting a little bit clever and a little bit scary for its own good, don't you?
Yeah, I'm actually quite terrified of AI at the minute.
Why the hell are we going to be in 10 years' time? If it could do that, a whole musical number, are you joking me?
Well, this is part of it, isn't it? Like, why there were a lot of writers going on strike in Hollywood and stuff, because everyone's jobs are just going to be obsolete. I don't like this world. I don't think we're meant to be in this part of the world, are we?
So, if it can create musical numbers and it can apparently, according to EastEnders, like let you talk to somebody who's dead, the world is turning very, very Black Mirror. It's very, very odd.
We are Black Mirror. This is the world now, isn't it?
Very odd. So we've got that to discuss this week, as well as the Johnny and Callum and Tim storyline went up, let's say, a notch. That's safe to say.
A bed notch.
A bed notch, so to say. And also Ravi went slightly mad in a pharmacy. So that happened too.
He did. Yes,
busy old week.
That did happen.
Busy old week. So let's get on with discussing it in this week's Albert Square After Dark.
Albert Square After Dark.
Right, let's start this week. Let's have a conversation about AI, because I don't know if I realised that was possible yet. I really didn't. And to be sitting there watching EastEnders with that being an actual storyline, I was sort of like, what is going on?
Have you not seen that they did this on Corrie a bit ago?
Yes, I did see that on Corrie. I thought that was insane as well.
Yeah, Leanne had her on Coronation Street. Sorry if you don't watch it, but her son, was he called Oliver?
Oliver, yeah, he died really young.
He was a bit older and they AI'd him in.
Yeah,
and she kept being really secretive with the laptop. And I think she got a bit addicted to talking to him.
I mean, I can understand how that would happen, especially if you don't really understand AI all that much, as I would assume Patrick didn't.
Well, it's kind of similar with Patrick, isn't it? It's his kid that is lost. I know it's an adult, but I mean, it's still his son.
I mean, what I would say is there are ways and means of introducing somebody to that, and the way that Denzel did it was not the way to do it.
That is not the way to do it. That would,
surprise!
You just let Patrick out. Hi, Patrick, what would you like to ask your dead son? This, and this, and then he just replies. No wonder he freaked out. What are you doing, Denzel? He is a kid, though, isn't he?
I know, he's at that age where he's sort of like, how have you not heard of this? This is technology, Grandpa. Odd. Oh my God. But like the thought that you can actually do that now, and for the fact that it can be a storyline and a soap, like it's crazy to me. It really, really is mental.
It is, isn't it? I was just thinking then, like, could you argue how different is it to like some people who ring up someone's voicemail when they pass because they just want to hear the
Yeah.
voice?
No need for
But
that anymore.
but is it different because actually this one's answering you in the way that it thinks that the person would answer you?
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that it knew stuff about him as well. Like, I bet you're drinking loads of rum now again, and it's sort of like,
Do you
what?
think Denzel must have put that information in?
Yeah,
Like you were saying
yeah,
with the song that you just did with the
yeah,
AI?
yeah. Well, no, all I did was
Put in
show it a
like,
picture of you, and it was just like drug addict. So, so yeah.
yeah,
I mean, clearly the danger from here is that Patrick is going to become quite reliant on AI Anthony, isn't he?
I think so, yeah. I mean, Yolandi straight away were like, no, this is not
I'm
how
with
we do
Yolandi.
grief. Yeah,
I'm with
so am I.
Yolandi. Like, I know that Yolandi's probably got a slightly more sort of religious viewpoint on the whole thing, but
Yeah,
irrespective of that, I think
yeah.
that I think it's unhealthy. It really, really is.
I agree, but then I was wondering as well, like, I wonder if in the future they're going to say that it's a tool that therapists might use with people who are grieving. I don't know. Would it end up going the other way? I'm not sure. I don't think it's healthy either,
I
I
don't think it's
must
healthy in
admit.
the slightest. Like, how does it help you cope with the idea of death? Like, is it just sort of like you can talk to somebody and that's the next stage of their life, and then finally when you're ready to let that pass, then you can slowly move into actual grieving of the person, maybe, so it becomes more of a step-by-step process.
Yeah, true, but even, I don't
Because in
know.
Patrick's
How do
case,
you
obviously
let go?
it was a shocking end for his son. It's not like he was expecting it to happen, like a terminal illness or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It was quite sudden and shocking.
Mm.
So is that a healthy way to sort of kind of move your way
Well,
into grieving?
Well, you can kind of understand Denzel's logic of, he just wants to have that one last chat with him. That's what he
Yeah,
keeps saying. He just wishes he could talk to him that one last time.
yeah.
And maybe if it was one last time and it did give him a bit of closure and he said those final things like, I'm really sorry about what I said to you that day and blah, blah, blah. But it's not going to stop there, is it?
No.
It isn't going to be that one final chat. He's going to keep talking to him, isn't it? It's going to be a thing, I think. It's
Yeah,
scary.
because
I'm
AI,
not
you
for
can.
it at all.
Neither am I. It's a bit scary because the thing is, ChatGPT, for example, you can talk on that thing for hours and hours and
Mm.
hours because it will always sort of, it will continue the conversation. It'll
Like
end
Tommy was.
yeah, it'll answer each sort of thing that you say to it with another question in order to kind of keep the conversation going. And as it does that, it's garnering more information about the person that it's talking to, so that it
Mm.
can kind of relate to the person that it's talking to a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Where does it end?
I don't know. It's scary, isn't
Where
it?
has this all come from? Like, we weren't talking about this 10 years ago.
Yeah, it is bizarre how it's like suddenly
Out
progressed
of
and it's got
nowhere.
so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an oddness to it. But do you think this is it now? Do you think Patrick's going to be literally locking himself in his room to talk to Anthony on this
I
through
think
this
it's a
AI?
possibility. Certainly,
Mm,
certainly this is. I don't think this storyline is meant to present a positive view of this section of
mm,
AI at all. I don't see how it possibly could be because yeah, this is going to be now Patrick sort of becoming really reliant on AI Anthony,
mm. AI
and
Anthony. It's got a ring to it, I must admit.
it has to be fair. AI Anthony, and it's going to have to be like his family sort of trying
Yeah.
to pull him away from it and everything, isn't it?
Well, this is the other argument I've got for it. Oh, I don't know if it's an argument, but like, I wonder if, because immediately Yolanda's reaction is like, this is wrong. This is
Mm.
not how we deal with grief. And Denzel's a bit like, I don't see the problem. He wants to talk to Anthony again. This is a way of him talking to him. And I wonder if it's going to spark a little bit of like a young perspective over an older person's
I was
perspective.
wondering that because I was sort of like there must be people who sort of watch EastEnders these days and are still kind of like they just close themselves off to the world of technology. Like they'll still watch EastEnders at 7:30 on BBC One,
Yeah.
and they'll continue their lives as they were
Hmm.
doing 20 years ago, for example, when you're just watching
Yeah.
everything schedulally rather than on
Yeah.
iPlayer and everything. So the concept of AI and the concept of having a conversation with somebody that has died is that a complete alien concept to them? Are they watching EastEnders and going, "What the hell am I watching? Like, what is?"
And thinking that this doesn't even exist. Maybe
is this EastEnders or Doctor Who? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Like, so. An age thing with AI, I can't imagine there's many people, especially Patrick's age, that are particularly knowledgeable about artificial intelligence.
Well, that's it though, actually. So these are people who've not really grown up with technology. You and I are on that cusp of, we've grown up without technology and then kind of we're quite a unique generation,
aren't we?
Yeah, very much so.
We're really, we didn't have Facebook at uni, for God's sake, or school rather. We had Facebook.
We had
Facebook
starting.
It was just starting when we were at uni, weren't we?
Yeah, just before. Whereas Denzel and his generation have grown up with technology, so is this going to be more of a norm to them and be like, why would you not use this piece of technology that could help you when you're feeling down?
Exactly.
Is that how they're going to view it?
And the kids in 10 years' time that haven't even been born yet, are they gonna? This is gonna be completely normal.
Oh my God, my daughter.
Yeah, your daughter is going to be.
Is she going to make an AI of me if I die?
Yeah, I think she might.
I'm having an existential crisis, Rob.
Yeah, there's going to be a northern AI of you in a few years' time. Like, hello.
If it can get my accent as spot on as Anthony's, fair play to it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Do you reckon that was actual AI he was talking to, or do you reckon that they got?
I did wonder that whether they've actually.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because if it is that simple to do, like Denzel was saying, surely they will just do AI, because if this is not the end of it as well, then surely there is an app where you just upload these videos and it'll talk back to you. Oh my God, it's so scary. Were people using it in the wrong way, like stalkers and stuff? It's scary.
Yeah, I mean, this is,
Theo would have used it and made a Stacey talk to him.
But then is that like, is that, I mean, that's keeping Stacey, if we were talking about that situation, that would be keeping Stacey out of immediate danger because he's too busy talking to AI Stacey. So,
yeah, but then if that AI Stacey becomes like, and then he's delusional and he thinks like, that is Stacey though, because that's what Stacey would say to me.
Yeah.
Then he would still go and be like, yeah, but this is what you would say to me. She's like, well, yeah, maybe I would if I actually liked you. And then, oh no, Rob, something's happening to my brain now. What is this?
On the face of it, this storyline seems insane, but actually, I think this is something that could really provoke some conversation because this is something, like it or not, AI is here, and like it or not, AI is here to stay. Like, this is the new normal. This is like the new industrial revolution, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Like, this is the start of a new movement in our lives. AI is here, and it's only ever going to get better from here. And the speed of which it's gotten better from where it started is terrifying. So God knows where we're going to be in 10, 20 years' time. So it is a conversation we need to be having. So for the sake of me covering this is actually fairly relevant.
If you're at the start of your career and you're thinking, what career option should I go for? Manual labour is the way forward. Something that a robot potentially, mind you, even down the line, I bet AI could start doing some of it.
Yeah.
We'll have robots building houses soon.
Reckon I might have to go to an AI hairdresser's in a few years' time. You reckon what would that be like?
Oh my God, would you trust it?
No,
there's driverless cars now as well. Like, I saw a TikTok of someone in a driverless car the other day, and I thought, I would not do that.
I know.
Not on my Nelly am I getting in a driverless car. Yeah. Thank you.
It's so funny because when we were growing up, like, there was always that sort of vague sci-fi idea that the robots were going to take over. And actually, if you look at robots now, they're actually still pretty crap. When you look at robots, like
but I see AI and robots as pretty much the same thing.
See, they're different things, but then once you start implementing AI into robotics, then you're in a different universe altogether. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of like, what is happening?
Which is where it's headed, isn't it?
Yeah, scary existential weirdness. I tell you that. And so, to ground it at this storyline with Patrick, which is actually a very personal storyline about grieving and about trying to get over that process, I think what this storyline is going to be asking is this a healthy way to process it? Because, like it or not, this is how some people probably already are trying to get over the death of a relative or a loved one. So is this a safe way to do it? Hopefully. I hope this storyline actually goes the full way in looking at this. Actually, it's quite interesting.
I was going to say it'll be interesting to see how they write it all in, because you could see that it will help him, but then is it healthy when they do become as reliant as we're expecting him to? And yeah, it's a strange one. I'm interested to see how they make it go, actually.
Because the thing is, if you talk to like a chatbot like ChatGPT enough, you actually do start to recognise patterns in it. Like you start to recognize how it constructs its sentences together, and you can sort of separate yourself from it and stop thinking it feels like when you first start using it, it feels like you're talking to a real person and it's the weirdest thing in the world. But then once you talk to it for a little while, you start to be able to separate it, because that's a very AI thing. And I think we're getting to a stage already where we can start to recognize AI things online, videos and all of that kind of thing, that they're getting a little bit easier to spot.
I don't know. I've fallen for a few AI videos. I'm not going to lie. I was sending to my friend and she's like, it's AI again. And I'm like, you're joking. It's AI again. I'm falling for it.
Well, even that music, would you have guessed first off that was AI? Can you believe that they can do that?
No, I actually thought you meant like somebody had made it and sent it to you or something. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's a bit spooky.
Let us know in the comment section where you are with AI. It could be us in a couple of years' time. They're talking about podcasts being presented by AI as well. We might be out of a job soon.
That. Oh, great.
Yeah. I mean,
could you actually stop it though? Like, what if they just recreated us two as AI and did it? Yeah. Was there any legal thing where you can be like, I don't okay that? Or would they be like, well, it's AI, can do what we want?
Yeah, I think. Well, there's already a whole thing in writers that AI, I think at Amazon, they just took a load of books that have been written, disregarding copyright completely, in order to implement it into their AI systems. It was either Google or Amazon, one of the two. And there's no copyright involved in that whatsoever. And writers are like, hang on a minute, but they've not got a leg to stand on.
I don't give you permission to start using that for your like algorithms and stuff. But because
the thing is, when something
can do to stop it,
when something new comes along, the law is sort of like, oh wait, what do we do here? Because there isn't a law yet. So what happens?
We can't catch up with it. Yeah. Wow.
Weird. Very, very weird. So there we are then. I'm interested to sort of see where this goes. Right. I hope it's not just a couple of weeks little storyline where we were sort of like...
I might have to write in my will, I don't want to be made into AI in any way. I do not give permission for me to be AI'd.
Possibly.
What if that'll be the future?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Right, let's have a conversation about Penny now. All of this was lovely. But this makes me concerned for New Year's Day, because we did suspect this is where it was going. And at the minute, Penny's pregnant now, and she's going to have the baby. So it looks as though the baby that Jack is left with on New Year's Day is going to be Penny's. So what the hell has happened to Penny by New Year's Day is my question.
Look, I'm just hoping that she's been hospitalised and not killed. If we've got to have one or the two. But then... I theorised this to you a bit ago and said, we've got all this Suki and Eve storyline going on about adoption. Why would it be Jack who's got baby Ethan if it is indeed Penny's, which I think it is safe to say. So we're expecting maybe they're going to have some drama and beef about who looks after the baby, or is it that Vinny's going to not cope because something's happened to Penny, so then Jack steps in? But I just feel with what's going on with Suki and Eve, they'd make sense to step in.
My only thought with this is... if you remember New Year's Day, the flash forward, there was windows smashed at the Vic. So I'm clinging to now, because I really don't want Penny to die, because I thought Penny was brilliant this week.
She's great.
She's a brilliant character. Really underused. Really underused. So it's nice that she's getting something to do. So what I'm actually really clinging to is the thought that something mad happens on New Year's Eve that hospitalizes a few people. Like maybe Penny is on, death's door, but obviously will survive in the long run. And that's why Jack is really concerned.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for as well.
And not grieving his daughter, Let's hope. But in the present day, we had a Branning meal. We haven't had one of these for a while, and it was a classic. Yeah. It was a classic.
Loved it. Yeah, really nice stuff. Love Oscar as well. He's just... Honestly,
nothing that boy can do will ever make me cross. I love Oscar so much. He's brilliant. He really,
honestly,
really is.
Just amazing, isn't he?
He's a great
brilliant
character. Yeah. And so the Brannings have arrived, all armed with, everything you need for a good meal, apart from Lauren, who's forgotten the dessert. And Jack takes these shopping bags into the kitchen and discovers a pregnancy test. Now, I thought his reaction to this was actually quite telling, because he goes through literally all of the girls before he even contemplates the idea that it could be Penny. In fact, I don't think you can think when Penny said, it's mine, he'd even considered it might have been Penny, which in itself is quite telling, isn't it?
Very telling. Yeah, you're right. I did think, why is he not considered Penny in it at all? I mean, she was the first person we all thought, right? Because we know Penny.
Jack hasn't seen that episode that we've had, you see. So
no, he's not. He's not seen
know.
how close him and Vinny have been getting.
No, but I thought it was so tame. There's like you didn't even consider the possibility that it might have been Penny, did you? You really didn't.
Which speaks volumes.
It really does, and you can kind of understand why when Penny took the test, she lied and said no, it's negative because what would Jack's Jack's reaction was not giving her anything that would suggest.
On the flip side to that, though, was it about how Jack feels about Penny potentially having a child or being pregnant, or was it to do with the fact that the first instinct was Chelsea because she was laid on the settee and she'd been sick, and she was hungover, and then they saw Lily going upstairs and being sick. Is that the only reason that they just didn't consider Penny? Because those two, or do you think it does run deeper?
I think it does run deeper than that. I think it was just the fact that Jack didn't even consider the possibility that Penny would be pregnant. Because for him to go to Lily first, who was literally
Amy actually, I think you mentioned Amy.
It went from Chelsea to Amy and to Lily. Lily, who has had a baby at the age of 12, was it? Like, as if she'd do that again. Like, and I don't think Ricky and Lily are even together, are they? Like, they're just they're just sort of parenting
They weren't first time, were they, to be fair?
No, that's true. So do you know what I mean? Like, he went through the most kind of insane options before he was presented with the truth and was shocked by it. So it's sort of like, I don't blame Penny in the slightest for lying, because Jack at no point was giving her anything that would suggest that it was a positive thing.
And also, don't blame her for lying, because everyone in family sat around like, do it. I was like, do it.
Yeah, love the drama.
Wow, guys, this is great.
Really helpful.
Amazing for Penny.
Really,
it was
really
funny
helpful.
though, to be
great. I mean, like I've said before, the Brannings right now, perfect, aren't they? Like, I love the Brannings at the moment. They're in such a great place.
That's something Wade's got right, to be fair to him, the Brannings, which is what he was aiming for, wasn't it?
He's got that.
Fair play on that.
The Brannings are in a really good place at the minute. But I think the person that shocked us most throughout the entire week, Vinny, out of nowhere becomes the best boyfriend that's ever lived in this situation, right?
I wasn't shocked at that, actually. I think it makes sense for Vinny to be like that.
I think it makes sense. It didn't feel like an out of character thing. I was sort of like, I can see that. But at the same time, I was surprised by just how brilliant he was with it. Because we always talk about Vinny as this completely useless human being. And in many ways he is. But I was expecting him to screw this up somewhere along the way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was expecting him to try and take over. I was expecting him to say the wrong thing. I was expecting him to...
Which is what he thought as well, to be fair.
But it amazed me just how good he was in the situation, and I think by the end of the week, we liked Penny and Vinny together anyway. It made sense as a couple. But I think by the end of the week, we're sort of like, these two are great. These two really work together, and it's really, really sweet to watch. Like, even when he was in the Doctors, I'm not convinced entirely that the Doctor would be that crap. In all honesty,
I am. I thought that was completely believable.
I don't know. For a doctor to go, you're in a wheelchair, and it's sort of like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, are they that crap?
Some are, I'm sorry to say, And the fact that he then just was talking over Penny and talking to Vinny.
This is the thing,
that is a thing. That's a thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And also, I did think, you do know who he is, though, don't you? Like, you should probably be being a bit more tactful, because his mum is the person who owns this doctor's surgery as well. So
that's true.
Might be gone soon, mate.
Yeah, I doubt he had a job much. I don't think we'll be seeing that doctor again. It's all right. There'll be a position coming up at the pharmacy, because Daniel's quit. Let me tell you. So.
Well, he were only there on cover, to be fair.
He was, and he will never be doing that again.
Yeah,
he will never cover
a Walford
again.
One, no.
So and then Vinny and Penny are sort of like talking about it, and Vinny, I think, is sort of just waiting for Penny to give him permission to want this baby, almost, isn't he? Like, he's sort of like, it's up to you, like, your choice, your body, everything, like, really going sort of full on with that. And by the end of the week, he's impressed Penny, and I think they've said, let's do it. Screw it.
Yeah.
But I thought something that Penny said was really, really interesting, because she was right when she turned around and was just like, how many disabled mums do you see around the place? And I was like,
I agree. I don't think and somebody who frequents children places and soft plays and everywhere, I genuinely don't think I've ever seen.
Which is crazy.
A mum in a wheelchair, like, genuinely. Yeah, it is. It's sad, actually, isn't it? That there's all these places that are not accessible for, or they don't feel it's accessible for them.
Yeah.
Whatever way. On the other side of that, what I found interesting is when I think she was talking to Jack, and she said something like, and he said, "Oh, how are you going to cope with night feeds and this, that, and other?" And she said, "Well, I'll have to. Like, everything's different for me anyway, and I have to cope every day." And I thought, actually, yeah, it's just another thing that she's going to have to learn to manage. Like she's saying, she has these everyday
and also
struggles.
she's paralyzed from the waist down. She's not paralyzed from the boobs up. She can feed. That's fine, Jack. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but there will obviously be other things. I mean, like Lauren kept saying to her, it's hard enough being a mum anyway. Like, no matter what. But I think if anything, she's got a great partner. It will look like him, Vinnie.
Yeah, he stunned me this week, Vinny. I was sort of fair play.
Do you know what I thought with how Vinny was being? He's displaying all of Suki's like great character traits, and I thought, oh, that's the good side of Suki coming through in Vinny. Is how I was viewing it.
Talking of Suki, I have always thought that it was going to be a great storyline for Suki and Vinny when Vinny when Vinny was expecting a child, because I would fully have expected Suki to try and just take over everything. And she still might do that, and I think it would be very in character for Suki to do that.
Yeah.
But now I'm sort of thinking, with this whole adoption process that they're going through, is she going to take a step back?
This is what I can't quite figure out. I know I'm like kind of fixating on it, but why would the baby be with Jack? Especially if he looks like he's struggling as much as he is.
Yeah.
In my head, it makes more sense for the baby to go to Suki and Eve, seeing as though they're wanting a kid. However, having said that, I do think that they've said that they didn't want a baby, maybe, and that they wanted a child a bit older, I think.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's still, or maybe it's like you're saying, she is actually going to start getting too overly involved, and that's why the baby's with Jack, maybe.
I feel like Suki naturally would, right? Like, it's, yes, they've got the adoption process going. We don't know, there is no clue as to how that's going to go, by the way. It feels like it's either going to be a long-term process, or at some point it might derail slightly, which will leave Suki free to sort of become quite overbearing and obsessed with Vinny's kid. Ethan, is this Ethan? This is the question. I feel like it must be now, surely.
Yeah, got to be. But then we've not seen Amy for a while, and Amy wasn't there this week as well. So what if it is actually Amy secretly? It didn't make sense. I'm sure it's just to do with acting schedules and stuff, why Amy wasn't at the meal. But I did think it was very apparent that she wasn't there. It did seem a little odd, I'm not going to lie, but it was the fact that they didn't say where she was. It's like, why is Amy missing this meal? But okay, fair enough.
So but the foursome as well of Gina and Harry and Vinny and Penny, that's working really, really nicely. I'd love them just to be around this flat, so let's have Vinny move in with Penny as well. I mean, I don't know how big this flat is, but and let's have this as a foursome. That'd be a great little place, wouldn't it? I'd really enjoy that, I think.
Yeah, I'm here for that, definitely. I do wonder if they'll still all be living there when the baby comes there, because I feel like it'll be like, yeah, we probably need to, like, Gina might need to move out by then. I don't know.
Well, they did, Penny did say to Gina, like, how are we feeling about a flatmate that never stops crying and is really loud all the time and throws up everywhere? Are we okay with that? So the suggestion from that is that they're going to keep this as a constant throughout the entire thing, right? So I'm excited about that potential, but this is the problem is New Year's Day, which has just got me concerned that something terrible is going to happen, because it's EastEnders. Like, nobody's happy forever, right? And at the moment, everyone's quite happy with this setup, so that means something horrible is going to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
But what that horrible thing is remains to be seen. But at the moment, I'm very concerned about Penny. Right, Ravi taking the pharmacy hostage.
You are?
I mean...
So random. I mean, obviously it wasn't random because he was going to get the medication, but...
Yes, but it wasn't... I will say, it's not where I thought I was going to be when the week started. I didn't think we were quite at this stage with Ravi yet, but apparently Ravi is now going through what appears to be quite a heavy psychological breakdown, I think.
Yes, it would appear so. I was a bit shocked. It was very... I don't know how I felt about it all. It was very confusing.
I just felt sorry for Daniel. That poor man had the worst day at work.
I actually didn't really feel that sorry for Daniel. I thought he could have his customer service could have been a bit better, actually, if I'm honest with you.
Are you having a laugh, Ree, when you've got that in front of you? Are you joking? I wouldn't be leaving the counter.
You were a bit. He were a bit abrupt, but did it warrant what Ravi did? Absolutely not.
This is what I mean. Like, even if your customer service is little bit lacking, that is still
right,
a very...
well, I'm locking you in until you get it. No,
that is still a very bad day. I mean, I did quite like the fact that he said, I can't leave the desk unmanned. You know, apart from that moment where I go and check the back for every single customer's single medication, that is leaving the desk unmanned, Daniel, just so you know.
Yeah, no, I were a bit confused with all of the little bits and bobs in between, but
Daniel is living... Daniel is someone that follows the rules, and that did not end well for him this week.
No.
I mean, this all kind of starts because Nugget forgets to take his medication. He forgets to... And a few people I saw online, and I don't know whether this is true or not, I'm kind of feeling like you forget your medication once and you have a really, really bad seizure. Is that logical? Is that how that works? I don't know.
Neither do I. Have no expertise on it, but you could argue that, you know, Nugget is still very new in his diagnosis and hasn't been on the medication for that long. So maybe
so how long is the medication?
Yeah,
how long is the medication? And it's not like, you know, you take a pill and that means that you won't have a seizure, and if you do take a pill then you will have a seizure. But he is very new into the process of this, and also with this sort of thing I feel like they will do a bit of try and testing with the medication, like that might not be the correct dosage for him or something like that, you know. So there's a few options maybe, but it is a very, very, very bad seizure because he actually wets himself, and I did feel sorry for him for that, because that is right in the middle of McClunky's, in front of everybody, in front of all his mates. Will, can we talk about Will for a second? Like, what the hell?
Why? Just why? But this is it. This is the problem with technology, Rob. This is what we've been saying.
Well, I just struggle with the fact that when, like, not to put too fine a point on it, but I struggled with the idea that Will, who has Janet for a sister, would do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying there. Yeah, why? Just his nature anyway. I wouldn't have thought Will would do something like that.
Why? They could have used any kid for that. Do you know what I mean? Like, they could have just used an extra who started. Why? I don't get what it achieved. I don't get what the point of that was.
No, I agree. Also, isn't Honey on holiday in Billy? Like,
why is Will there then? So is Will living with B at the moment?
B? I don't know. Yeah, they weren't very thought out using Will to be the person.
It seemed a bit mad, but hey, there you go. Nugget obviously forgot his medication. He still had a strip at home though, so I feel like the whole thing with Ravi going mad at the pharmacy was sort of like, he has got a strip at home, just get the new ones tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, and well, the reason as well that Nugget didn't take some, he said earlier on in the episode, I want to take it with food. Then he obviously left them in the wrong trousers, which is when Ravi found them at the laundrette. The fact that I know a lot of people on Albert Square don't have a washing machine, but they've got this swanky flat. Yeah, they've got a washing machine. But all right, fair enough.
I'll tell you what, though, the price of water bills these days, is there any wonder?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, but well,
I know. Yes. So Priya sort of says to Ravi, right? Well, Priya basically gives him a list of jobs to do, including getting a job. Because the idea is that Ravi, who is this professional chef, couldn't possibly leave Walford to try and find a job in another restaurant in the whole of London. He has to have a job on the square. That classic soap thing. And so he tries getting a job at the car lot, and Max... it feels like ages since we've seen the interior of the car lot, by the way.
Yeah, he does. Well, since Jay, even before Jay went, I
suppose with Jay not there, they've been struggling to think of a reason to include the car lot, in all honesty, haven't they? But Max has sort of taken over that, so I can sort of see Max.
Well, he said he was just covering for Lauren, didn't he, while she were doing something for the day. But yeah, I could see Max being back there. Why not? I
mean, being told by Max Brunning that I'm not going to hire you because of your reputation, it's sort of like pottle. You know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, pot kettle.
Yes, so he's left without a job. He's very, very stressed about that. And so by the time that Priya tells him to go and get Nugget's medication from the pharmacist, he's not in a great place. And so he walks into the pharmacist, and Dan, the pharmacist man, can't find Nugget's medication, and tells him that he will either have to go to the high street, which again I assume is outside of the square. So he's like, screw that, I'm not leaving the square. Way too far. Or just come back tomorrow. Yeah. And Ravi goes mad and closes the door. Denise and B are both in there. B was brilliant.
B is
more and more I see B, the more and more I love her. She's so funny.
Same. She is.
And it's madness.
Chaos ensues.
I mean,
that was, I know I'm probably, focusing on the little details, but Dan's just left the keys in the door. Brilliant, though, like for Ravi in that moment. Otherwise, how would he have?
Yeah, he had an appointment with his mum to
so we're all over the place.
As soon as that little queue was out the door, he was gone. That was the plan, I think, for Dan.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
And so it's just chaos, absolute chaos. Ravi is he's crying, he's screaming at people, he's pulling phones out of people's hands, he's going out the back and just making an absolute mess. Another more work for Dan to do when all this is done. He's got to pick up all that mess that Ravi's made.
Yeah. It's like you said, though, he wasn't actually that desperate for the meds. Like, he had some at home. And Nugget said that to me. We were like, Dad, I've got pills. That's the worst thing. He did all this in front of poor Nugget. The irony that it's come from the guilt he feels about what he's caused on Nugget. And then you're just adding more stress onto the kid, making him witness you doing all of this. Like, what do you think? Well, he's not thinking, is he? He's clearly not well.
He almost confesses to Nugget in the pharmacy. Yes. And I have to say, I actually think this would have been a great moment to reveal that. And I feel
I agree.
I don't know what will be a better situation dramatically to unfurl in order for Nugget to discover that than what they had there.
I thought this is the perfect moment. It's all going to come out. This feels like a good moment. It feels right then that they've done the pharmacy thing, because then he's going to reveal it to Nugget. Everyone knows, but no, they didn't. But I thought that. But now, like, skipping ahead a little bit, then he's having this conversation with Priya, and I thought she might go, do you know what, if the guilt's eating you up this much, maybe we do need to just tell him, because we can't go on like this. But no, it's still, we've got to do what's best to protect him. Like, no, this isn't protecting him.
This isn't protecting him.
He's just held him hostage in a pharmacy with a bunch of other customers.
How safe do you think he is right now in this situation? It's sort of like, and how much further is Ravi going to fall in where he is at the moment? Because by the end of the week, he's basically having a breakdown on the sofa, like whacking his head to pieces, and Priya's really scared and is sort of like, you can tell by her face, it's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this situation?
Yeah, it can't be that bad, Rob, though, because his hair's all right.
I did think that his hair wasn't stressed.
Do you know what I mean?
This week.
It can't be that bad.
Obviously, what he's also got going on in the background is this whole thing with Mark. Who he had another pickup this week, but then he got the phone call for what had happened to Nugget. Now, the car, I did think that if I was Ravi at that situation, I think what I would have done is like ran to the car, thrown the package in through the window, taken the money, and then just ran to where he needed to be. But he sort of abandons the job completely, and Mark has to sort of make an excuse for him. I love that Mark, when he kind of went into the pharmacy after it all kicked off, Mark had this brilliant line where he turned around to Ravi and went, if you carry on like this, you're going to get noticed. Like, are you joking, Mark? I think he's already been noticed. I think
we'll be on that bit, aren't we?
All of that was a little bit noticeable. I think people noticed that, Ravi.
Even you've noticed it, Mark.
You noticed it, so I think everybody else did. Consider this noticed, I think.
I do kind of like, though. It's a kind of odd dynamic that, like, in that moment was probably not the right moment, Mark, for you to say something like that. But even in that moment, Ravi's like, yeah, he's got a point.
Yeah, fair. I probably shouldn't have done that.
All right, probably shouldn't. Yeah, all right.
And he's also got Jack piling on the pressure as well. So you can sort of see why Ravi is so stressed at the moment. And then mixed in with what appears to be, I think some sort of breakdown is happening to Ravi at the moment. So with all of this piled on, it's sort of like, how is this going to manifest itself?
Well, I did wonder, it's smelling a bit similar to what happened with Denise and the Keanu thing, where it was the secret and her holding it in so much that made her really struggle, wasn't it? Because she's hiding this secret. I mean, on top, you can argue Ravi's got the death of both Ranveer and Nish that he's been holding in. So he's been holding that in. I guess maybe this one more secret. Yeah, exactly. Then this other secret, a huge secret on top, that actually everything that's happened to Nugget is his fault because he's the one who did it. But is it just me who thinks, yeah, sure, Nugget is going to be incredibly hurt and really upset, but it's better than you going through all this now, Ravi. Like I say, holding him up in a pharmacy because your brain's not coping well enough with it.
Yeah.
Like,
of all
Priya's giving some pretty bad advice to him, I've got to say, I think, at the minute.
Of all the things that are piling up on Ravi at the moment, the guilt with Nugget being one of them, I think, like, just remove one of them and you might find yourself in a slightly more bearable situation, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely. And it feels like that one is the easiest to sort of reveal at this point. So, yeah, I don't know how Nugget finds out from here, because I feel like that dramatically would have been the perfect time for him to find out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Because then you would have been left with the situation of like, okay, I've got this information, but Dad is clearly having a breakdown in front of me. So what do I do right now? But maybe
Yeah,
not.
that's
Then.
true. It might have been a good time. Well, I don't know. I
No,
agree though. I think
it
it
didn't
should have been.
happen.
But it's also as well like there's just so many ironies for me because now Nuggets like he was looking after Ravi in that situation, and sorry, it should be Ravi looking after Nugget
Yeah,
given what's
yeah.
happened. So I just don't see that there's any good being gained now from not
No.
telling him.
And Ravi is not
So
going to be good in any job that he has at the moment
no.
in this state, is he?
No. I just hope now, because this story has felt really well paced,
Mm.
actually. But like you said, that felt like the right moment. I hope they don't drag it on now,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Nugget finding out, because that did feel like a great moment for him to find out.
yeah. So
So it
how is
feels
he?
right to me that he should find out next week because Priya goes, actually, I've been thinking about it. You're not in your right sound of mind. It's all going to come out anyway. Let's just tell him and we'll
And
sit him
even that
down
would
and
feel a
explain
little bit.
it.
And even that would feel a bit anticlimactic, to be fair. Seeing as
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
So what I wonder is maybe the whole thing with Mark's going to come out before then, and then as a result of that, it's going to domino into Nugget finding out about that, and it's all just going to come out in one big
Interesting.
explosion. And
Yeah, could
Christ
do.
knows how Ravi would react to that. So I guess we'll have
And
to
it
wait and
makes,
see.
do you think Priya's seeing, because obviously behind all of this, Ravi's self-harming as well, isn't he? Do you think Priya's
Yeah,
not like noticed any of the marks on him, or is he just covering it up with
yeah. I
dodgy
mean,
dealings or
I
something?
think so. I think so. I think most of them, I think he could probably cover up with because he managed to kind of keep Priya out of the picture of what's been going on, really. Like, yes, she
Yeah,
does know about the whole informant thing, but she doesn't really know anything else other than the fact that Mark's involved with it. So,
yeah,
really, he can kind of spin a yarn about any sort of bruises or cuts or marks on him at
true.
this stage, can't he? With that.
Yeah,
So,
true. I guess so.
but then Mark's really the only one that's noticed something going on there. So, I don't know whether that's relevant or not.
Yeah, I do think Mark's going to be quite involved somewhere. I just don't know how exactly.
We shall have to wait and see. But yeah, that was crazy, all of that. It was not where I thought we were going at all.
Do you think, like, I'm sure it's just the fact that B just happened to be in there to get medication, but do you think it's going to be relevant that she was like, where's my prescription? Like, what meds is she on? Like, I
I
just
don't know,
wondered.
that could have been anything, couldn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just wondered if that were going to be relevant. But do you think anything's going to happen now after this pharmacy thing, or do you think we're not going to hear about it again? There's not going to be any repercussions.
I don't think so, because Jack apparently managed to get everything sort of forgotten about,
Yeah.
but didn't they? So I don't know how we managed that. But yeah, I feel like it's just going to be the fact that it happened is
Mm,
going to be the the factor moving forwards
mm,
rather than results from
yeah.
that. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel
Yeah. So
yeah.
we're just meant to think, well, Dan couldn't be bothered to give a statement anyway, because he was just more concerned about going
Dan
to pick his
was
mum up from hospital.
Dan's quit. Dan's quit that job and moved out of
It's just
London.
like, do you know what? It's not worth it
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. No,
Not
I
even
never want to
bothered.
see that man again. I never want to see. That was the other thing as well. Ravi asked him to write that drug name down. Can you imagine all of that stress that's going on? You're being held hostage in a pharmacy. There's a man going mad in the back, like making a mess, and then you're asked to spell a really long, complicated drug name.
But I
Terrible
feel
day.
like Dan were just like, whatever gets me out of here, I need to just go and
Yeah,
pick my mum up. That's all I'm bothered about right now. So I
yeah.
think, in a way, it were good that they had that little thing for the pharmacist in the background. Otherwise, it would feel really unbelievable that nothing's come from it and that the pharmacist themselves not reported it.
Mm,
Otherwise, it would just. But anyway, I don't think anything will come of it.
no, me neither. Right, let's move on to the final storyline of the week, and that is Johnny, Callum, and Tim. So, the Johnny, Callum, and Tim storyline escalated to new levels this week. The first thing I would say about Tim is that I thought that he was a little bit Machiavellian for my tastes. He was sort of
Okay.
like, this is the sort of character that is just nasty,
Yeah.
and he's got not that much like in terms of shading to him apart from that. They tried to do a little bit with it when Johnny was sort of like, are you lonely, Tim? This is what this is all about.
He's
But
got no redeeming qualities, has
no,
he?
like, and it just, I would have liked to have a little bit more colouring to Tim rather than just,
Yeah.
this is what he is, this is what he's going to do. And I feel like that situation and the Tim aspect of it, it's going to be removed from the situation quite quickly. And then it's going to be Callum and Johnny's reaction to it from there on in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like he's literally just been written in for all of this to happen, I think,
Yeah,
Tim. It were a way to get Johnny to have his own lawyer firm because he
yeah,
otherwise wouldn't afford it. It were a very convenient way to go. He's got loads of money from his old mate from uni. And yeah, we'll just make him a bad guy as well. Why not?
Yeah.
Sure, let's make Tim the bad guy without giving him any depth as to why he is the bad guy.
I mean, it's not like we hadn't already got an idea that Tim was a little bit of a villainous role, I think. Yeah. But I don't. Did you think that this was going to be where it was going? Because ultimately, in the eyes of the law, actually, what happened to Johnny this week was rape by coercion.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Yeah, it's 100%. That was not consensual, were it?
No, at all.
Yeah, it is rape.
By turning around to somebody and saying, sleep with me or I'm going to ruin your life, or I'm going to ruin your partner's life.
Yeah.
That's not consent. So
no, I agree.
Effectively, Johnny was raped this week, right?
Yeah.
Which, narratively, to have both of Callum's partners different paths of getting there, but to have both of Callum's partners go through that in different ways is a bizarre choice, I think.
Yeah, I think it's all been a bit of a bizarre choice of storyline, if I'm totally honest with you. Like, I don't know, I didn't see this path for them. And like you say, I've not even considered the fact that now that's two of Callum's partners who've gone through it. I mean,
that seems very odd. That seems very odd to me, to sort of have one person have two partners that have gone through this. Like, yeah, it's like I say, separate and different outcomes, but different pathways of getting there. And arguably Ben's was a lot more brutal than Johnny's was, but then Johnny's was a lot more psychological than anything else. And I do wonder whether they're actually even going to address the fact that that's what this is.
Oh, I think they are going down that.
You think?
Yeah, I think that is where they're going, because I think that's why we're seeing Johnny struggling so much when he were at, what's it called, Harry's Barn now. I think that's why he was struggling, because, and it's Elaine who's going to tell him, you do know that that's what's happened. Like, I think it's Elaine who's going to say, that's rape. I mean, it were interesting as well when he discussed it with Elaine and she said something like, because you're a lawyer, not a rent boy. And I was like, I thought that were an interesting, way of phrasing it. It took me I was a bit shocked when she said that. I don't know why. It felt a bit like, I don't know, like she was almost undermining what it actually is, if you know what I mean, that it were coercion. Is she now going to realise what it actually is? Because
I think what Elaine thought at that point was that effectively what Tim was doing was going to be paying Johnny for it, because ultimately the idea of all of this is to get the funding off Tim for the lawyer business. And I think when Elaine was sort of having that conversation with him at that point, the idea possibly of money being embossed around the line was still sort of in the air. Whereas by the time it happened, there's no way that Johnny is ever going to get any money from Tim at this point. And now then it was all about like stopping this video that Tim has now got of Callum breaking into his house. Now, again, with I don't know actually how much I feel like Tim didn't have anything to stand on with that, because you have given Callum your address in order to break into your house. Why have you then got footage of this? How have you got footage of Callum breaking into your house if you didn't know that this was going to happen? It's then just going to take Callum the policeman to say, well, this is the address that I was given from Tim. So effectively he was asking me to break into his house. So do you know what I mean? I feel like it's a little bit dodgy ground from Tim, and I feel like it was actually more intimidation tactics than anything actually logical that Callum would get.
You think that Callum could talk his way out of it quite easily?
I think so.
Yeah, but it depends how. We didn't see how he and Ian actually broke in. So if there's literally footage of him smashing glass and breaking in, they probably don't have a leg.
Which I don't know if there is, because Tim has just got this little camera placed helpfully above a framed photo of himself. Just to identify that it's his house. Although, to be fair, if I lived in a house like that, I'd have a framed picture of me just so people know that's my house. That house. That house is ridiculous, right? It is.
Is that again to show that he is lonely though? Is that a little thing like
a big old house all on his own? Yeah, he hasn't. All he's got to support him is just like a big, like Scrooge McDuck, just a big old picture of himself above all of his earnings in life. Just this insane house. I want to live in a house like that. Tim might be scum.
We all do, Rob. We all do.
Tim might be scum, but he's got great choice in houses and decor, I will say.
Well, this is what they were saying, isn't it? You can't buy love though, Rob. So, Well, that's what they were saying. By the way, you just said that you don't think Johnny's going to get any more money from Tim. Do you think this is where it's over then? Because I wondered if he's just going to keep asking Johnny now. And it's I don't know if it's going to be fully over and he's going to go, actually, you know what? I've seen that he's willing to do it for that. Well, you want to keep funding your business.
It depends. It depends what Elaine now does with this information. If she now goes straight to Linda or somebody I feel like actually this can be nipped in the bud quite quickly as far as the Tim aspect is concerned. It doesn't remove the issues that are now quite present in Johnny and Callum's relationship.
Yeah.
Because actually, I don't know whether Callum is going to. I don't know how Callum's going to react to this. He's either going to realise quite quickly, oh well, that's rape by coercion, or is he going to see it from the other side, which is basically you cheated on me.
You just cheated on me.
Which is which would be a really unhealthy way to look at it. So I don't know where they're going to go with it from there.
I think he would view it as you cheated on me at first. Then I think he'd maybe view I think for Callum it might depend if he sees the effect it's having on Johnny with the rape thing, because actually if he doesn't think that Johnny's that affected by it and he underestimates how affected he's been by it, I could actually see Callum being like, you're the same as Ben, you've been lying to me. You should have just told me what he'd said to you. Because like, I would have talked you out of it. There's no way I would have said, please go and do that for me. So in no world would I ever have wanted you to have done that. You've not done it for me, really, because I wouldn't want you to do that. So it depends how he views it as well.
But then can Callum actually now not just go and arrest him for that? Because even if Tim was to reveal, well, this is the video I've got of Callum, again, I feel like Tim's crime is much worse than anything Callum did.
I agree, but in the eyes of the law, I don't know. They would probably come down on an officer quite badly. You know what he needs to do? He needs to go to Jack. They all just need to go to Jack.
Yeah, Jack will
I mean, if he chooses to, sometimes Jack decides to take the moral high ground, actually.
Oh, yeah, as and when it suits him. Yeah, absolutely.
So it is a bit of a risk taking it to Jack.
Yeah. I mean, it's all a bit murky. And I'm very unsure. I don't know where it's going to go from here. In terms of Johnny and Callum's relationship, like, all of this week just kind of felt like they were really framing Johnny and Callum as a relationship that's not meant to work. You know, I don't know how... Johnny obviously is absolutely head over heels with Callum. I don't think that's up for debate, because otherwise he wouldn't have done any of this, right? But the whole thing of Callum being really hesitant about signing the divorce... again, I feel like... I was sort of like, why haven't you signed that yet? You know what I mean? Like, you...
True.
Your relationship's over, and you're in a new relationship.
Yeah, true. But I kind of saw both perspectives on that bit, because it did feel very final for Callum, and he and Ben didn't really part like just because they wanted to. It's more due to circumstance. Do you know what I mean? So then it feels quite a final thing to do. And like Callum said, you know, he was kind of defined by Ben for quite some time, which I thought were quite an interesting thing that they acknowledged.
Really interesting line. When Callum turned around and was like, "I'm more than Ben Mitchell's husband," and I'm sort of like, I've been waiting for you to prove that for about 5 years now, Callum. So if this is the start of that, then marvelous. But then at the same time, whenever they decide to bring Ben back, which feels inevitable, the Ben and Callum are going to be straight back together again, aren't they?
I think that as well. Yeah, if they did bring Ben back, they would probably get back together.
Of course they would.
I agree. I do wonder as well, actually, in all of this, and I'm wondering if this could be a thing that they actually bond back over with Callum and Johnny, is Linda knew what Tim was doing. She had that conversation with him.
Yeah, and chose to keep quiet, which I thought was bizarre from Linda. Like, why would she just keep quiet? Just because Callum told her to mind her own business. And she's like, I've got this information, so I will mind my own business then.
Because she supposedly thinks, oh, actually, fair enough, because I've got my own concerns that Callum's not over Ben. So maybe this could be a good test for Johnny. Yeah, maybe Tim's got a point. But I know what you mean. Really, she would have gone to Johnny and been like, Tim's setting you up, guys. Like, don't worry about it. It's all him. The fact that they didn't know it themselves anyway, to be honest.
Well, yeah. But especially as the conversation between Tim and Linda, I thought that Tim actually quite openly turned around to Linda and was like, I'm planning on sleeping with one of them.
Yeah.
You know, so even that I would maybe have spilled to either Johnny and Callum. You know what I mean?
Well, she did. She said to Tim, "Oh, as long as Johnny doesn't get hurt, that's all I'm concerned about." It's like, he's gonna get hurt if you let him carry on anyway. Surely.
At what point during this conversation do you think that the intention of hurting Johnny isn't there? You know what I mean? Like, that's all he's planning on doing.
So I do think when you were saying about will Elaine then tell Linda, and then is Linda going to fess up to Elaine and be like, oh, shit, I actually knew that that's what he was doing before it happened. And then it's going to be an argument about Elaine's going to say, you could have stopped this. You should have told your son. And...
Yeah. But then, you know, also with the rape aspect of it, the Linda and Johnny
Oh
thing,
yeah,
obviously,
that's true. Yeah,
that's there as well. So is that going to push Linda? I think it all pivots on what Elaine's going to do with the information. If she goes to
yeah.
Linda, then who is Linda then going to turn to? Max, maybe.
Max, probably Max.
And then
Yeah,
Max will do God knows what in order to kind of keep Linda
he'll get
happy.
his
So
heavies on him because he's
yeah,
the
because he's the
deputy
guy in
manager of the
charge.
drug world, is what
Yes,
I'm thinking. No, I
yes,
think he's deputy manager. I don't
manager.
think he's top boss, but I
No,
do think he's involved somewhere
deputy
quite high
manager.
up.
Oh,
Yeah,
so we reckon Tim's going to end up at a car boot then.
hopefully.
We haven't had
Fingers
one of these.
crossed.
We haven't had a car boot for a while. I think
We've not actually.
we're due a shenanigan warehouse type situation, aren't we? We've not had one of them for a while. As far as Tim's concerned, I do think it's a shame that they've sort of taken Tim down this actual very shelf life path, because I've been dying for I'll call it a Janine type gay man character to be on the square. And it's sort of like every time that they sort of bring a gay man in that's really villainous, they give him a really horrific sort of thing to do that just makes him completely and utterly incapable of remaining on the square for very long. And I'd really like to have, and Tim actually, in the way that in performance and everything like that, was actually really what I want to see long term in terms of that sort of character. So I think it's a shame that actually Tim's time is pretty much done now, I think.
Yeah, he could have made quite a good. I feel like even if he wasn't like a central character, like you're saying, like this Janine type person, he could have come in and out a bit more if he'd not got the shelf life. So, yeah, recurring. So it could have been like Johnny ringing him up and being like, "Oh, Tim, I need a favour. I don't suppose you could help me out with this."
A gay Nick Cotton.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
perfect. Yeah,
yeah. And it could just be a good way to explain like why some characters, like Elaine, got all the stuff pushed through the council. Oh, well, it was Tim.
I tell you what, Elaine changed her tune quite quickly on Tim this week, didn't she? Yeah, she doesn't love him anymore.
Oh yeah, I've always hated Tim.
Always, never liked him. Never liked him.
I know.
He is not welcome at my hotel boutique in no circumstances whatsoever. Yeah,
right. But yeah, I do think that there could have been a bit more use for him. But having said that, like I say, I don't feel like we have maybe seen the last of him, and I do wonder if it's going to continue with Johnny. I don't know. It's a hard one to call. It could go either way, I think.
Yeah, it depends on how they're going to sort of make it play out. So do you think that they're going to really fully address the fact that this is coercive rape, do you, rather than just blackmail?
I think so, based on how Johnny was in Harry's barn. I don't see how... Yeah, because... And then they showed that little clip of him and Callum like trying to get intimate and him struggling. So again, why are they addressing that so soon after it? Which makes me think, they're going to delve a bit deeper into, like you say, the rape by coercion. Yeah, I hope so.
Because to be fair, it is that. And to be fair, it wouldn't be the first time a soap has had a situation like that unfurl, and actually the fact that it's coercive rape hasn't been addressed whatsoever. It's just been seen as blackmail. So I'd quite like to sort of address and say what that is. I just think it's a bizarre thing that Callum has now had two partners that have been raped. I think that's just weird.
I mean, I wouldn't have even considered that, if I'm honest. I'd not even thought of that. But yeah, it's just the way that it's panned out, though, isn't it?
There we go. Gold star this week, Ray.
I'm actually quite torn, because, well, I'm not going to lie. I thought Ravi with the pharmacy was a bit odd, right? I'm not going to lie. However, did Aaron Tiara do a great job?
Oh, well, of course he did. Yeah, absolutely.
But then I'm like, do you know what? Nugget keeps impressing me because those seizures that Jaheim keeps portraying are actually really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then who else do I consider it? Denzel for helping Nugget. I thought I'm a bit torn, to be honest.
I don't know about
Denzel can lose it for the AI Anthony, actually. Fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what? In that case, I'm actually going to not randomly, but I'm going to give it to Ravi actually, because I am a Ravi stan as well.
I think it has to go to Vinnie for me this week, just for being a fantastic boyfriend out of nowhere and showing that actually he's not entirely useless. I feel like criminally and sometimes physically, Vinnie is useless, but emotionally, he's got his head screwed on the right way. So
agreed.
That was nice to see this week. So there we go. Let us know who your gold stars are going to, and we will finish the podcast with a little bit of news and some comments from you. Right, let the spoiler sirens blare. Nina, because we have had another return announced, and actually it's going to be as soon as next week, I think. because Gemma Bissix is reprising the role of Claire Bates for a short stint as she returns to EastEnders as part of Nigel Bates' dementia storyline. Despite being estranged from her stepdad Nigel, Claire returns to Walford when news of his worsening dementia reaches her, but she is shocked when she arrives and is confronted by Nigel's fragility and the reality of his prognosis. This is exciting. We have been saying for all the way through this, well, Claire at some point, surely. Now, the whole process of it was made more difficult by the fact that Gemma Bissix had returned to Hollyoaks. But other Claire, Claire Devine, is currently in prison, I believe, which gave Gemma Bissix the ideal opportunity to nip back to Walford to film for this storyline. So that's exciting. I bet she wishes that she had a different character called Claire. They're both called Claire.
Both Claire,
but this is good. This is very, very good. I'm pleased, excited to see it.
By the way, something we didn't acknowledge. One, last week that it was the anniversary week. We realised.
Happy birthday, EastEnders.
Happy birthday, EastEnders. And two, that Nigel didn't die in anniversary week, which is what we've been saying for a long time.
This is what we were convinced by. So it means he's going to die at a random week in April or something like that.
Apparently so. Well, this is what I'm wondering: is Claire back for his? Does this mean that he's going this week, or do you think she's back?
I don't know.
Going to see him, and then she might come back again for the funeral, maybe.
Yeah, it seems because I think I've read that she's back at Hollyoaks now already. So so whatever this stint is, it won't be for very long. So yeah, you're right. Does that mix in? Does that mean that Nigel's death is imminent? Because obviously the funeral will have to happen quite quickly.
I feel like this is turning into our any minute now.
Any minute
Nigel,
now.
Innit?
That said, Grant needs to be here for that funeral.
Yes, that's true.
I think we can guarantee that Nigel won't be dying until Grant's back, or at least at the very worst, he might die just before Grant returns. So either way, I think we've got a little while left yet. So who knows? But Claire being back, exciting. Still got a few little connections on the square, and I'm really interested to sort of see her relationship with Julie. So yeah, bring all that on. Very exciting.
We've got a comment here from Catriona Kenny who says, I really understand Penny. As a disabled woman, the world is not designed and therefore does not encourage you to have a baby. You probably know that you would be a good mother, but you tell the world you don't want kids because it's easier than to fight an ableist system. Thank you to the actress who plays Penny for letting these complex emotions be understood.
Yeah, I genuinely was really kind of taken aback by the idea of what Penny was saying, that you don't see many disabled parents around. And it's sort of like, actually, yeah, you're right. You really, really don't.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really interesting to sort of explore like the technicalities of all this, clearly, the fact that she's going to have a cesarean, which was pointed out by the doctor this week, which she seemed to just accept quite fine because that's what she was expecting. It's going to be, I'm interested to sort of see how this plays out and if there's any sort of additional sort of difficulties involved, and really sort of highlighting all of that as well.
Yeah, because not only have they explained that there could be some complications during pregnancy, then we've not even considered all the practicalities after birth as well, which, again, which is kind of why I would also be disappointed if Penny does die, like if she is gone on New Year's Day, because it would be nice to explore, how this disabled mother is going to cope, like Catriona said, in this world that's just not ableist enough for them,
and show actually that it's fine and that this works absolutely fine and everything's going to be
and sure there's difficulties.
It's obviously a little bit more difficult, but actually it's perfectly possible and everybody can be happy and everything can be fine involved. So there's a couple of reasons where I'm sort of really concerned about Penny at the moment, because I'm sort of like, there's a number of reasons why I don't want you to be killed off, this being one of them, that I'd quite like to see this play out long term. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Laura Kay has said, at first I wasn't sure how to feel about Penny and Vinnie, but tonight won me over. Wishing them all the best, though my hope is being tempered somewhat by the New Year's episode. As far as the Ravi storyline, it's a bit much, but also more than a little satisfying watching him suffer for all the terrible things he allowed to happen to Kojo and Harry. Honestly, he should have just gone to prison. I'm sensing that Laura hasn't forgiven Ravi.
She's not been convinced by this redemption that they're trying to give to him.
Have you 100% forgiven Ravi for everything that he did to Harry and Kojo?
I've kind of forgotten what happened with Harry and Kojo, I'm not going to lie. Does that mean I've forgiven Ravi?
Yeah, this is literally the phrase forgive and forget. You've forgotten and not forgiven.
Well, this is the thing. I was thinking this actually, because I was trying to put myself in Priya's position, right? And I was thinking, if I'd found out that my partner had hurt my kid because they'd been spiked by the person's mother who they'd caused to be a drug addict, would I be as understanding as Priya? No, because actually this was your fault. Did you intend to hurt our kid? No, but is karma a bitch? Yeah. So is it kind of your fault, all of this?
Yeah. I mean, you could look at it from the perspective that actually what Ravi's going through at the moment is a punishment. So he's certainly, you can hardly say that Ravi isn't receiving a comeuppance for what he did.
Yeah. But does he deserve this kind of psychological torture that he seems to be living in? No. Underneath it all, I don't know. I actually don't think he is a bad guy. Is that going to be controversial to say? I don't know.
I don't think he's a bad guy.
He's done bad things.
Yeah, he's a bad boy, but he's not a bad guy. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a difference there. I feel like what he's going through at the moment actually is just cause. I feel like it's deserved, and it's good that at least they're showing that what he did has had an impact on him. Rather than him just sort of doing something and then sort of just shrugging off the consequences. Like, he is suffering for what he did right now. So,
well, maybe what would have been another way to like show his redemption arc would be he's still trying. He's like still trying to find work with Mark, even though he knows that some, like, obviously he's an informant, and he's still trying to find that side work. But actually, now is the opportunity that he could go, do you know what? I want to get out of that field. As soon as I've stopped being an informant, I'm going on the straight and narrow. Priya's right. There are ways that I could just be straight with my money and earn money in a totally legal way.
Yeah.
And maybe if he went, you know what, I've took this all too far. I don't want to be like either of my dads. Yeah. And this is the route I'm wanting to take, but I'm actually being pressured into, still working in this world because I'm an informant. Then I probably would feel a bit more sorry for him. But I feel like he's still making a bit of a choice to be in that world still. When he's seeing what damage he does.
What I will say is, yes, maybe the pharmacy stuff was a bit extreme this week, but at the same time, I am actually really enjoying the more grounded side of it, which is the relationship between him and Nugget. Which is both of those two have worked so well together on screen. Like, they always have done. Like, obviously the Nugget and Ravi thing has been a sort of ongoing storyline since Nugget arrived, essentially. They work really well together. It's been really well performed, even if sometimes the story itself has kind of gone off into some strange and wonderful directions. But at the minute, I'm kind of enjoying the dynamics that it's creating on screen, and Ravi and Priya are a great couple together. Even again, if Priya is making some slightly questionable decisions of late, I feel like ultimately there's more good to come out of this than bad, in my view. But
remains to be seen.
That's it this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and wherever you find your podcasts. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Yes, you can indeed. Thank you very much again, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you have enjoyed the show, and we will be back same time next week. Much to discuss next week. I think Claire is back next week, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be good. And obviously a lot of fallout from this week is presumably to come. So join us next week for the discussion for that. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See you then. Goodbye.
Bye.